Good morning, Nigel. Welcome back to Scotland. It's certainly been a while for you. Now, over the last few days, we've heard both Keir Starmer and John Swinney say that you don't much like Scotland, but what I heard up on the podium today kind of disputes that. So, what are your feelings about Scotland? Do you have fond memories here?
Well, it's a remarkable place, isn't it? I used to come a lot years ago when I was a good golfer and trying to catch salmon and things like that. I've got other links in Scotland, but look, to say that I don't care about Scotland, people say I don't care about Northumberland or don't care about Wales, or they're just ridiculous comments. And what we're seeing, I think, are mistakes being made by other party leaders. They're lashing out at me, left, right and centre, because they're scared. And they're scared because the reform vote is on the rise. They're scared because we're prepared to take on the failed consensus.
Of course, you're here to talk about net zero as well. And on the other side of the coin from oil and gas is wind energy. So Scotland has about 4,500 turbines, but the real problem here, of course, is the battery storage. There's just not enough of it, and it's not far enough stretched. So I'm just curious whether you would support the building of battery storage to maybe bring down some of that £1 billion in constraint payments.
I've been told for 25 years, since 2000, that battery storage for wind energy was coming and it would be effective. 25 years on, it is not. What we must not do, what would be a huge mistake, is to put all our eggs in the wind farm basket and to hope that battery storage comes along that is affordable and effective. And what I'm here to talk about is the willful destruction of an oil and gas industry that is going to be needed for decades to come. And this is being done for reasons of political ideology, and it makes no sense at all. It will do enormous damage, not just to Aberdeen and the surrounding area, to Scotland, to the whole of the UK. It is a willful, wanton destruction of an industry that has frankly been supported by both the Conservative and Labour parties.
So I don't need to tell you that there's been some real interest in your Doge department. So, let's call it Doge Britannia. When might we see some real effects of that taking hold?
This is day one of Doge. The Doge team has gone into County Hall in Maidstone in Kent this very morning. A team of young tech entrepreneurs who are not being paid. They're doing it of their own free will, and we're going in to have a look at Kent, to have a look at the contracts, to have a look at the expenditure. We hope that the Kent Chief Executive and the Council will work with us, because of course many of the decisions on spending would have been political decisions. No, Doge is active, up and running as we speak.
Fantastic. Just to a slight pivot over to defence. Obviously, Keir Starmer today talking about his ambition for these new nuclear submarines. Now, as you will well know, that those submarines our current fleet is berthed at over in the Clyde. Now, we know that Fastlane would need an expansion to accompany them, but obviously John Swinney here in Scotland, not a big fan of nuclear at all. Do you think that those fleet will be welcome here? Do you think now is the right time? Do you think in this climate of accelerated defence spending?
I think the SNP and John Swinney are wrong on nuclear, full stop. The rest of the world is saying, do you know what? The one thing nuclear gives us is baseload, continuous, reliable energy. They've turned their backs on that. When it comes to nuclear submarines, well, frankly, there is no better way of being able to have, to hold and use a nuclear deterrent than nuclear submarines. There was a story in the press over the weekend, we might have new bombers that carry nuclear weapons. I don't believe that for a moment. I think deep water submarines are the only way.
It's worth just quickly talking about Ukraine as well. Now, over the last few days, we've seen another spate of attacks, this time coming from Kiev. Just curious to get your thoughts on what Zelensky's allies and whether they are actually doing a good enough job of steering him towards a path to peace. Now, obviously, this is a very complex situation and it's been going on for numerous years now, but I'm sure the 28,000 Ukrainians that have temporarily settled here would certainly like to know your view on that.
Well, I mean, obviously what's happened overnight seems to be an astonishing attack. I wonder how Ukraine was capable of doing it on their own. They must have had some help from somebody. Look, the real problem right now is Putin, who appears not to want any negotiated peace of any kind at all, hence President Trump's deep frustration with it. Trump thought he'd bring them together and a deal would be straightforward. Putin is the obstacle.
Nigel Farage, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your stay in Scotland.